Andy Ruiz Jr. versus Tor Hamer. Tor Hamer quit on his stool after 3 rounds. If you ain't seen Andy Ruiz Jr. before, he's a fat Mexican heavyweight, young kid. He's in his early 20s, but he does have some talent. He's got very quick hands, very quick. Some of the fastest hands I've seen in the heavyweight division for a very long time. Now, there have been other fat heavyweights who do have good hand speed in the past, people like Tony Tubbs, Buster Mathis Jr. But I would say that Andy Ruiz has probably got the fastest hands of them all. And he's got power with those quick hands. And yeah, he's got some talent. But if he can just get his weight down, he might be able to develop a better all-round game than he currently has. In the first round, Tor Hamer came out fast. And either Tor Hamer can't really punch or Andy Ruiz Jr. has got a tremendous chin because he was lighting up Ruiz Jr. He was lighting him up. He was hitting him with solid jabs in the mouth, right hands, uppercuts, hooks, everything. Every punch but the kitchen, everything but the kitchen sink was going in. And Ruiz Jr. barely flinched. He barely even blinked. He just ate that shit up. And second round came. Ruiz Jr. started doing a little bit more, but he was still getting lit up. Then in the third round, Tor Hamer just seemed to lose heart. Ruiz Jr. was taking all his best punches and he was actually starting to fire back now. He was letting those fast hands go. And I remember thinking to myself at the time, man, I hope Tor Hamer don't quit again. Because 3 fights ago, he quit on his stool against Glaskov. I can't remember the first guy's name, but his surname was Glaskov. He had that very controversial draw with Malik Scott. And even in the Glaskov fight, he wasn't really taking any serious punishment. The fight was just getting competitive, that's all. But he wasn't taking any serious punishment. And it's the same case here with Ruiz Jr. He wasn't really getting beaten up by Ruiz Jr. or anything like that. But the fight was just starting to get competitive. Ruiz Jr. had taken all Hamer's best shots. And he wasn't going nowhere. And he was starting to fire back and apply the pressure. Until Hamer took that as an opportunity to say, you know what, let me get out of here before the going gets too tough. And he quit on his stool at the end of 3 rounds. It was an okay performance by Ruiz Jr., but he needs to sort that defense out. And if he could get his weight down, he might be able to develop some upper body movement, some head movement and roll under punches and whatnot. Because as he is right now, he's got absolutely no defense. He does have an impressive offense when he lets his hands go. It's impressive. He's got fast hands. He's got power there. But his defense, shockingly bad. Shockingly bad. And like I say, if he can get his weight down for this fight, I believe he was 255 pounds and extremely overweight. And he looks extremely overweight. Some fighters, it's all about their muscle to fat ratio. Ruiz Jr. is around 6'1", 6'2", so he's around the same kind of height as Derek Chisora and Odlanier Solis. But if you've seen Chisora and Solis around 255 pounds, which they have been before in their careers, they look a hell of a lot more solid and not as flabby as Ruiz Jr. when they weigh that much. But Ruiz Jr. don't have the kind of natural muscle mass that those two fighters have, Chisora in particular. Those guys have a bit more natural muscle mass on them. Ruiz Jr. he just looked like a blob in the ring. So he needs to bring that weight down. If he can get down to about 220, 225, that might be a realistic weight for him. And that might be a weight where his mobility will be good enough where he can move a bit faster around the ring, employ some head movement and stuff like that. Because as it is right now, he's just a sitting duck. At a certain level, he's going to have success like he did here. But once he gets up to the higher levels, this guy, I'm telling you, he's going to need to have a defense. He's going to need to sort that conditioning out. And, it's funny. Throughout this fight, the stream I watched, it was an American stream, and it had Colonel Bob Sheridan, and Larry Merchant commentating. And Larry Merchant kept making fat jokes about once every 30 seconds. And Bob Sheridan wasn't laughing because if you know Bob Sheridan, then you know the guy is not exactly slim himself, right? He's pretty much morbidly obese. And, Sheridan wasn't laughing. He was just kind of grumbling under his breath. So, it is what it is. But Ruiz Jr. really needs to get the weight down and Bob Sheridan kept on defending Ruiz Jr.'s physique and saying, oh, well, he is getting his weight down every fight gradually. But he's actually not. Yeah, I think he was heavier in this fight than he was in his previous fight. So he's hovering around the 250, 255 pound mark at the moment. Need to get way lower than that, man. Need to get down to the 220s. Yeah, he don't have the kind of muscle mass on him that he needs to weigh anywhere north of 230 pounds. He don't have that kind of natural muscle mass. So if you can get down to around 220, 225, he could be a serious player in the heavyweight division, this kid, because the hand speed that he's got, that could take him a long way. A long, long way. And he's got them short arms, so he can let off them fast combinations at close range. You know, where a lot of heavyweights don't like it. There's not many big heavyweights that can actually fight on the inside and have the ability to defend against that type of attack from those type of quick hands. So he's got potential there if he can sort his conditioning out. And he seems to have a chin as well. And as far as Tor Hamer, he's obviously just doing boxing as a little bit of a hobby, a little bit of a side hustle. Apparently he was a college kid, college graduate. So he probably don't really need this. He's probably just went out there to China, you know, just get a free holiday, paid for by his promoter, Lou DiBella, and, you know, fuck some Chinese girls and shit, you know, get a little bit of money on the side, you know, see the world, nice little holiday, or vacation as you call it in the States. So, yeah, he's not really serious about the sport of boxing. This is the second time he's quit in his last 4 fights without really taking any serious punishment. So, yeah, it is what it is, man. I mean, I'm not judging the guy at the end of the day. He's not really a fighter. He's just a guy that is athletic, just a jock who's athletic that can, you know, throw a few punches, but he's not a fighter. We certainly don't have a fighter's heart, but that's okay. You know, I'm sure he's got other things going on in his life which are more important to him than getting his face bashed in by some fat Mexican kid. So it is what it is. So yeah, if you ain't seen the fight, go check it out. Go check out a few of Ruiz Jr.'s fights and tell me what you think. Some people are impressed, other people are not so impressed. I'm kind of in the middle. I think he's got potential, but we'll see where he goes from here. We'll see if he can get his conditioning down. Even right now, he'd be an interesting opponent for a lot of the other up-and-coming American heavyweights out there. He'd be an interesting opponent. You know, you put him in there with Bryant Jennings, Deontay Wilder. He's an interesting opponent for them. I'm telling you right now, with them fast hands, interesting. So yeah, drop your comments below. Let me know how you felt about Andy Ruiz Jr.'s performance and where you think he can go from here. Yeah, this is Hatman. I'm out.